7, Amber Ty. Number 12, Kylie Davis. Number 13, Ashton Jesse. Number 15, Basha Suni. And number 60, Armani Moultrie. The Vulcans are coached by head coach Gene Krager, and he's assisted by Sienna Davis. The Vulcans have a record of 8-13 overall and a 5-9 record in the Pac West. Meet your Dixie State Trailblazers. 5'6" freshman from Phoenix, Arizona. Number 1, Jordan Nelson. A 5'11" freshman from Syracuse, Utah. Number 2, Casey Adams. A 6'1" junior from Fullerton, California. Number 3, Kayla Chapman. A 6'2" sophomore from Spanish Fork, Utah. Number 6, Lauren Gamble. A 5'7" junior from Bountiful, Utah. Number 7, Sid Brandon. A 5'10" junior from San Dimas, California. Number 9, Hannah Doonan. A 5'11" senior from Prescott, Arizona. Number 10, the captain, Brett Barney. The Trailblazers are coached by head coach Robin Felder. She's assisted by David Richards, Nate Capps, and Lindsey Garrett. Dixie State comes in with an overall record of 10-13 and 8-7 in the Pac West.
There you have it, folks, your starting lineups. Oh, I guess not. There you have it. Waiting for, oh, we are. Your starting lineups, as you heard before, at the Student Activity Center here on a Monday evening. With you always is myself, James Guerin, to bring you all of the Dixie State Trailblazers women's sports. As we got a good contest here today, as we have the Vulcans from Hawai'i Hilo going up against your very own Dixie State Trailblazers. Both teams on the outside looking in to the end of the season. Dixie State coming in with a 10-13 overall record, 8-7 in Pac West play. And the Vulcans with an 8-13 record, coming in with a 5-9 record in conference play. Come on down and enjoy your Monday night here, right at the Student Activity Center. If you're not doing anything, start your week off right, as the Dixie State Trailblazers come back from a short road trip, a 2-game road trip. One of them was against nationally ranked Cal Baptist, where they did get swept. No surprises there, as that team has not lost a single game all season long. And we are just about here underway in set number 1. And it looks like it might have been a bad set call. That's going to be a point awarded to the Vulcans. To serve for the Vulcans, it's going to be Basha Suni, 5'6" junior from Laie, Hawaii. Going to be Nelson setting up the captain, and Barney unable to attack that one over the net. And the Vulcans are quickly up 2-0 here in set number 1. Suni serves it over. Adams started off over to Nelson. Back to Adams. Fires it in the corner. Recovered by the Vulcans. Vulcans able to improvise, as Nelson's going to set this one over to lefty Lauren, and you know just how dangerous she can be when it comes to those attacks. Like a cannon attached to her arm. Jacqueline Condi checking into the game immediately to get her first serve of tonight's set. It's going to be Green starting off. As the captain couldn't quite find the inside of the line as it sails out of the back line, falling for a Vulcan point. Sierra Green to serve for the Vulcans as she's the team's leading point scorer. Definitely need to keep an eye out on her. And once again, that's going to be lefty Lauren. She quickly checks out and Kayla Chapman comes in. It helps when you're 6'1", I can tell you that. As Sid Brandon to serve this one over. Green to start it off. Over to Suni. And Brandon's going to start it off again over to Nelson. This one's going to go back over. And that one's going to fall in. It's going to be Hannah Doonan with the kill. Getting her first action. And we're tied up at 3 apiece. Here early on in set number 1, and Brandon's going to serve it back over to Green, starting it off. Over to Suni, and a little bit of a rally going on here. Well, that's going to be Jesse just having to send this one back over, and doing it with a big windup. Brandon recovering from the block. Doing it again, finds, able to deflect it off of a Vulcan player. And a quick timeout here by Coach Krager, as he may not enjoy or is pleased by what he sees early on here in set number 1. Like I was saying, Sierra Green leading the way for the Vulcans at 232 points. And the best part is that she hasn't even played every single set, as the team leader does have 75 and she only has 61. So extremely, extremely efficient when it comes to scoring. Leads the team in kills. Also leads the team, and we're going to have to check away for a second. I'll be right back. Welcome back here after that quick timeout. And Brandon's going to start things off once again, serving this one over. And that's going to be Brandon again, starting it off over to Nelson. Back over to the captain and finds the middle of the court. Right into the breadbasket. The Trailblazers up 2 here early in set number 1. Brandon for her 4th consecutive serve. Green to start it off. Over to Suni, and that's going to be blocked and falling in. Led by Kayla Chapman. Brandon getting a lot of work here from her serves. As Green's going to start this one off again. Over to Suni, and that's going to be Ember Ty finger-tipping that one over the 2 blockers. And that's going to fall for a Vulcan point. Mina Grant to serve this one over. Doonan to start it off. Over to Nelson. Kayla Chapman with a big windup. Vulcan is able to recover. Block attempt by Chapman, able to improvise. And that's going to be Doonan with the windup again. Grant to start it off. And Nelson maybe caught off guard there with the one-handed effort. It's going to be Kylie Davis awarded with the kill on that play. As Grant sends this one back over, the Trailblazers starting it off and blocked immediately, but able to recover is Doonan. Doonan fires again with another save. And Nelson to start it off. Over to Brandon. Back over to Barney. And that's going to fall for a Trailblazer point, as we have 2 quick substitutions in. Coach Felder loving the enthusiasm so far, as Shannon Sorensen and Kara Moore check in for the first time today. And Kara Moore to serve this one away, as the Vulcans just barely recovering from that one. The Trailblazers get another chance, and Chapman trying to finger it over, and it falls outside of the line as the block attempt unable to stay in play. That's going to be a Trailblazer point, their largest lead of the first set, as Moore sends this one over. And that's going to be Kylie Davis getting the kill, as the block was unable to knock that one back over the net. We got 2 substitutions coming in for the Vulcans. It's going to be Sheree New and Evelyn Soliomati. The big knee brace on her right knee. That's going to be Chapman with the big windup. Green starting it off. And Brandon's going to able to save this one. Back over to Sorensen, and Sorensen hits it back right to Green. And the good pancake save by Brandon keeps this rally alive. And that one's going to find the back corner and falling for a Vulcan point. The Vulcans traveling light, as they appear to only have 11 players traveling, maybe allowing Salio Maddie to get some action with the extraordinary knee brace she has on her right knee. It's going to be Doonan keeping this one in, as Moore to start it over to Brandon, and Sorensen's getting another crack at it, and does, nearly gets it away. The Vulcan's able to recover. And that's going to be Moore sending it over to Doonan again. And that one's going to fall for a Trailblazer point. And we got a substitution. Casey Adams checking back in for Jacqueline Condi. Hannah Doonan to serve this one now. Green to start it off. Over to New. It's going to be Chapman with the big windup. Vulcan's able to recover, and that's going to be Green from the back row and going out of play. Falling for a Trailblazer point. Looks like Coach Krager may be changing his lineup a little bit, as Green is in the back row now. As I mentioned earlier, the leading point scorer on the team. Maybe seeing something that I don't, and that one's going to go out of play. Service error by Doonan. That's going to be a Vulcan point. Ty to serve this one over, and it's going to be Sorensen splitting the 2 defenders, getting the kill on the play. Lefty Lauren's going to check in for Brandon. Kayla Chapman to serve this one over. She finds Green once again. Over to Grant. Green with a big windup, but gets blocked. Led by Lefty Lauren, and Sorensen over with the help. Trailblazer lead is now by 4. Chapman to serve it over again. Green over to New. That's going to be Kylie Davis. Able to squeeze that one past. And falling for a Vulcan point. Splitting the 2 blockers, as you saw right there on the replay. And Doonan to start it off. Over to Moore. That's going to be Lefty Lauren again. And when you see her do her 3-step approach, you know it's coming. And it's going to come fast. As Nelson and Brandon check back in. Nelson serving it away. Finding Ty. Switching the field of attack. Nelson able to dig that one. And Brandon's just going to have to loft this one over. As New over to Green. And Green, seeing the positioning by the Trailblazers, able to find the hole there. As Brandon saw that one coming. Basha Suni. And that one sneaks in, and Doonan called it off initially, but able to find just the line on that one as the ace for Suni. Be Adams starting off over to Nelson. Finding backwards over to Barney. Vulcan's going to just have to lightly hit this one over, and they do, and Doonan back over to Nelson. It's going to be Barney with the big windup, and that one's going to fall as nearly hits our statisticians over there. As that one hit the top of the net, and Gamble just had to hit that one back over, preventing any sort of fall on her side. And Adams going to serve this one over, a rare sight. The Green with the big windup gets blocked, able to pop this one back up. Nelson to start it up over to Brandon. And that's going to find Doonan in the back row, and mistimed her jump just a little bit and falls short of the net. We got substitutions. As that's going to be Trixie Crode checking in for Sierra Green. Crode getting her first action here in set number one. Be Adams starting off over to Nelson, and there's Lauren again, and there it is. She takes a quick breather, and Kayla Chapman comes in. Chapman and Gamble, the team's top two scorers, as they are just neck and neck with each other, 238 to 235. It's going to be Brandon setting it up once again, and that's going to find Kayla Chapman in the back row, and she gets the kill. 1-2 punch of Chapman and Gamble. And we'll see those two again next year. As Green is going to check back in after her quick breather. Substitutions are made, and Brandon's going to serve this one back over. Green to start it off. And an awkward hit, but still manages to get the point. That's just going to be Ashton Jesse. Looked like a little bit of a sideward arm motion, and Mina Grant to serve it away. And Adams will start it off over to Nelson, and that's going to be Doonan fingering it over, finger tipping it over, and that's going to fall for a Trailblazer point. Saw the gap right there, and nothing that Jesse could do on that one. And Moore serving it over, finding Green. And the block, single block by Chapman, able to get that one to fall over on the Vulcan side, and Krager's going to take another timeout away. A little bit of miscommunication, it seemed like, by the Vulcans. And the Trailblazers have their biggest lead here in set number one. Tonight's game starts a 3-game homestand, the final 3 games of the season. The next game being on Saturday against Azusa Pacific. That's going to be senior game. And Azusa Pacific right now sits at second in the conference. So it's going to be a very challenging game for the Trailblazers. And then their last game is going to be on Sunday, and we'll take we're going to stick it right here, but I will be right back in about 20 seconds. Welcome back after that 20-second break. It's going to be more serving it over again and clipping the net and unable to make the recovery. It's going to be Basha Suni. The Trailblazers find themselves up 6 here in set number 1. Moore once again. Green to start it off. Over to Suni. And the big windup. And Brandon able to keep it alive. And Sorensen's going to tip that one over. Suni again. Over to Davis. Adams able to start it off again. And Chapman's going to loft it over. Vulcan's able to recover. Good rally here going on. Chapman the big windup. Vulcan's recovering again. And Davis back over to Adams. Brandon's going to start it over to Doonan. Finding the back row to Grant. As the block doesn't stay in bounds, but after a very lengthy rally, the Vulcans finally get the point. As we got 2 substitutions coming in, it's going to be Sheree New and Evelyn Soliomati. And New's going to serve it over. Brandon to start it off. Over to Moore, and Adams with the back row. Kill, and she gets it. Just clipping Dalacone. In finding the middle of the court where nobody was standing at. Dixie State just 5 points away from taking set number 1. Grant to start it off. And it's going to be an attack error by Soliomati. As Doonan's going to serve it once again. And back over to Grant. And lofting it over. Able to recover it. As Sorensen's going to get a smack at it. So Leo Matty unable to get the ball over the net. 3 points away from concluding set number 1. Doonan once again. Finding Grant. And that's going to be immediately hit by Chapman. Able to capitalize on the poor dig. And you don't want to give her those. Those are free points. Doonan again. Finding Grant. Over to New. And that one's going to hit the top of the net. A couple of the Trailblazers thought that that one might have fallen over on the Vulcan side. As Chapman does get her hand on it. It's going to be tied to serve. Adams started up. Over to Moore. Back over to Adams. And able to squeeze that one by the 2 blockers. And we are aloha ball. Game point. As they say in the islands of Hawaii. It's going to be Chapman starting it over. And that's going to be Grant rainbowing it over. And doing it from the back line, rainbowing that one over. And the kill by Soliomati falls through. Still alive here in set number 1. And Davis hits that one out of the back line. And your Trailblazers take set number 1. 25-16, set number 2 to follow after. And that's a way to start it off for set number 1. Exactly what you were looking for. Are coming off a win against Point Loma in 5 sets. And the Vulcans coming off 5 consecutive losses, so trying to turn this one around. Trying to get it end on a positive note. As this is going to start their road trip, a 4-game road trip Set number 2 starting in about 2 minutes, so we'll take a 60-second timeout, and I will be back here on the Trailblazer Volleyball Network. That was perfect time.
Wake the sun, tell him that I've begun to dream of things to come, and tell the trees not to look for me. I'm going to find some peace of mind. Wake the sun, wake the sun, wake the sun, wake the sun.
And welcome back to the Student Activity Center here on the beautiful campus of Dixie State University. On the call is myself, James Guerin, for all your Dixie State women's athletics. And in case you are just joining us, the Trailblazers did take set number 1 by a score of 25-16. Getting off on the right note as Lauren Gamble leading the way with 5.5 points. But that's not a surprise to any of us, as she is the team's leading scorer. Coming into the game, 238 points in 88 sets played, 187 kills, just above Kayla Chapman. So those two are definitely the target of attack. No doubt about it, as we'll have those two for at least one more season. And Nelson going to start set number 2 right away, and that's going to be Green with the windup, finding space, and Nelson unable to position herself well enough to be able to dig that one. And Green's going to get her first kill. As Green serving this one over, and Barney over to Green again. And Brennan to dig. It's going to be over to Casey Adams, and of course with that gorgeous windup I always talk about, but that one gets blocked this time and falls in play for a Vulcan point. Green to serve it again. Doing it over to Nelson, and that's going to find the captain, and that one's going to fall again for a Vulcan point. Quickly here, the Vulcans making some moves. Green unable to make this one over the net. Falling for a Trailblazer point. Jacqueline Condi checking into the game and getting her first serve here in set number 2. One of 2 seniors on the roster. Over to Grant. And finding the low angle on that one is Brennan. Unable to return that one. Mina Grant to serve for the Vulcans. Connie to start up, over to Nelson. That's going to find the captain, and Lauren's going to slap this one over. And Gamble with the big block on that one, as she switches with Kayla Chapman. Sid Brandon to serve, as that one didn't have a chance. That one is going to get down for an ace. As it looks like the two Vulcans, I believe it's going to be Green and Ty, both thought that one was going to go out, and that one just dipped down. Brandon again. Back over to Green, Suni, and Ty. Now it's going to start up over to Brandon. And that's going to be the captain hitting this one over. Green hitting it from the back row. Brandon able to make the save, as that one's going to hit off the top of the net. And the Vulcans weren't expecting that. And now it's going to fall on their side. And all of a sudden, we're tied here in set number 2. And that one's going to get blocked by Kayla Chapman leading the way. Duden with the help. The Trailblazers on a 4-point run here in set number 2. And that one looked like it was going out from the beginning. That one was a laser straight across the court. Serving for the Vulcans is going to be Sheree New. Nelson over to Chapman, and she's going to loft this one over the two blockers, and it's going to fall for a Trailblazer point. And we got two substitutions coming in. It's going to be Kara Moore and Shannon Sorensen coming in for the captain and Jordan Nelson. Kara Moore to serve. It's going to be Grant starting it off. Over to New, and it's going to be Davis. As the switch of the court, able to be saved by the Vulcans, and Green has to hit this one over. Moore over to Chapman. And a lot of liftoff, a lot of takeoff, should I say, on that hit. Finding Green in the back. And unable to make the dig, and that one's going to fall for a Trailblazer point. And Moore going to serve this one over once again. It's going to be Jessie trying to set this one up for her teammate. Unable to, and Krager's going to take his first timeout here in set number 2. And the Trailblazers, a lot like in the first set, running away with a little bit of more momentum. Falling behind early, and then able to play their game like they usually do and find themselves up by 3 here in set number 2. For those of you just joining us, on the call is myself, James Guerin. And we got the Trailblazers of Dixie State going up against the Vulcans of Hawai'i Hilo. Both teams with losing records coming in, which surprisingly can always end up in a competitive game. As both teams showing signs of youth, as both teams come in with a lot of freshmen and a lot of sophomores on each team. So the future is bright for the Trailblazers. Of course, with only the 2 seniors on the team, one of them being Jacqueline Condi, the other being the captain, Brett Barney. But the future is bright, as we do have Nelson and Adams, your constant freshman starters, underway here. And it's going to be Brandon starting it off over to Moore. Sorensen able to get the deflection off of what looks like it was Amber Ty getting a hand on that one. That one's going to fly out of play. Falling for a Trailblazer point. And Moore to serve it over. Finding Ty again. And it looks like it's going to be a bad set. Wrist facing up. It looks like it could have been called a lift. Trailblazers doubling the score here early. Grant to start it off. Over to New. Lofting it over, but the Trailblazers able to recover. Another reset, And it's going to be Doonan finding the back. Grant able to start it up. Over to New. And it's going to be Ty just coming up short, hitting the net. And that's going to fall for a Trailblazer point. Moore getting in her serving reps. That one getting blocked. And Brandon able to keep this one alive. And Doonan's going to get a swing at it. And that one's going to fall after the deflection. And Doonan's going to get the kill on that one. Moore finding Ty. Over to New. And that's going to be Jesse finding Doonan. And Chapman with a big windup. And that one was coming in fast. And that's going to fall. As it looks like the Trailblazers figured out the movement formation of the Vulcans. As they're up large here in set number 2. 13-5. Moore again, and that's going to be a service ace. As that one dipped down at the last second, and Ty was not ready for it. Moore finding Grant over to New, and that's going to be Jesse getting denied. And this one's getting a little carried away as the Trailblazers are now up by 10. All smiles for the Trailblazers. And Moore's going to swing at this one again, finding Ty to start it off. Over to New. And Jesse again, softly hitting this one over to Doonan to start it off. Then to Moore. Sorensen's going to get a whack at it, and then that one's going to get saved. And a recovery by the Trailblazers. And Brandon has to hit this one back over for another opportunity for the Vulcans. Blocked initially, and then the Vulcans try to respond, and that one just misses the outside line. And a substitution, as it looks like it's going to be Tori Dalacon coming in for Amber Ty. It's going to be Moore again, and the run is over. As it looked like it was probably about 8 points in a row that the Trailblazers got. Trixie Crowed to serve for the Vulcans. Doonan with the big windup. Another opportunity. Doonan again. Brandon starting it off again. Over to Chapman. Connie to start off over to Moore, and Chapman with the big windup. But Jesse's right there to keep it alive, and that's Green tipping it over. And it looks like it could have been an attack error, maybe a little bit of a palming. Green doesn't like the call. And a Doonan to serve. The attack error. It looks like Davis falls short of the net. And Taylor Tibbetts making her first appearance. Coming in for Sorensen. Tibbetts, the tallest player on the team, listed at 6'3". That one's going to fall short of the net once again. And set number 2 is dominating. Being dominated, should I say, by the Trailblazers. Doonan again. Over to Grant. Grant to New. Green with the big windup. Brandon able to start it off. Over to Moore, and Chapman's going to have to hit this one over softly. Green to start it off again. Green being able to get the kill on that one. Finally getting something going. As Krieger's looking at her like, why not just do that every time? Just keep doing that. And that one being blocked, led by Chapman. Adams with the help. And Gamble's going to check in for Brandon as Chapman's going to be the server. The Trailblazers able to recover from the hit from Green. And the Vulcans definitely targeting Green here as the primary attacker. And that one gets blocked by lefty Lauren with Taylor Tibbetts coming in with the help. Be more over to the lefty Lauren, and a little bit of a sneaky move on that one. I was expecting the big hit, but instead just with the trickery. 3 points away from taking set number 2. And that one's going to fall short of the net. And momentum taking a big swing and taken away by the Trailblazers. Moore just make the good dig on that one. That one bounces off the ceiling, and Moore and Tibbetts didn't know which one was going to get the hit on that one. Suni to serve it over. It's going to be over to Adams. Moore to hit it back up, and it looks like it's going to be a net violation. Adams to start things off. Over to Moore. That's going to go to Taylor. Brandon over to Moore. Now it's going to find Casey Adams with the big windup. Vulcan's able to recover. Brandon back over to Adams. And it's going to find Grant. We got a good rally going on. And that one's going to get blocked. Led by lefty Lauren. 24-9. Aloha ball here in set number 2. And Nelson looking to put the nail in the coffin here in set number 2. Over to Green. Back to Suni. And that one doesn't get the back line. Just misses the corner. And set number 2 belongs to the Trailblazers as they win large, 25-9. And that puts them up 2-0 as that one just barely misses the line. And just like that, we're in between breaks 2 or sets 2 and 3. As the Trailblazers owned set number 2. Once again, that's going to be Lauren Gamble leading the way with 8 points, 6 kills, and a dig. Chapman also, Chapman is the leading point scorer with 10.5. And Doonan leading the way with the most attack attempts with 18. And Carol Moore has 3 aces in both sets so far. here in between sets 2 and 3. Trailblazers up 2-0. We'll take a 3-minute break on the Trailblazer Volleyball Network. I blanked for it.
What to expect when you're expecting
Like here.
a teenager.
Today, I'm going to show you how to team-proof your home. First step, hide the car keys. Preferably somewhere they would never look. Challenges will come up. Be ready for them. Hi, honey.
Ready for the Mom, you don't use mannequins in the mannequin challenge.
You don't have to know it all to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
They'll test you. Try to break your will. But however loud the loudness gets, however many cheese puffs may fly, you're the driver, the one in control. Stand firm. Just wait. And move only when you hear the click that says they're buckled in for the drive. Never give up till they buckle up.
I rescued Toast from a shelter in 2011. I love Toast because she's a lazy diva. Toast does whatever she wants, obviously. She's sleeping right now. She's an epic snuggler. She's so comforting. She's so loving. Toast makes me laugh. When I walked into the shelter, I knew right then that she was special.
And welcome back to the Student Activity Center here at Dixie State University. And during that break, as a tradition between sets 2 and 3, the crowd gets into a little 2v2 action. Winner gets to stay on the court. It's always fun to get the crowd involved and to experience that volleyball is not an easy game. They just make it look really easy. A lot of the crowd was palming the ball or not setting it correctly, and it's really tough. I tried to get into it throughout high school, and I could never get it. It's tough, and a lot of people take volleyball players for granted. Oh, you know, they don't really run that much. But these girls hustle. They're flying all over the court. They're getting bruises on their heads. It's a little bit more rough than most people ought to explain it to be. And the Trailblazers looking to bring out their brooms here in set number 3, looking for that sweep, which in my time of calling all their home games, I believe that'd be their third sweep. I believe so. It'd be their fourth sweep, actually. I was there for Holy Names, Dominican, and Hawaii Pacific. all back-to-back-to-back games. Not losing a single set. And, you know, another 3-game homestand. Maybe the same results. You never know. As we have a little bit of a lineup change to start off set number 3, as we have Sydney Johnson along with Amanda Robinson getting their first looks here. As Suni to start off set number 3. And it looks like it's going to be a bad set for that matter. And it looks like we're just waiting for the scoreboard official to get up to date, and does so. And we're going to resume play right now. And Suni to serve it away again. And that one's just barely getting over the net. And the Vulcans another chance. And that one's going to get dug by Brandon. And Robinson getting a smack at it. And Jesse's going to find the back row. Good rally here early on in set number 3. And that's going to be Golding setting up Lauren, and Brandon there to make the recovery again. And that one's going to find the back corner, as it looks like it was Alexa Golding being able to sneak that one back there, as she also getting her first action. Excuse me, as that's going to be Robinson serving it over. And Brandon diving once again. Robinson sending it back up over to Johnson. And Brandon unable to dig it this time. And maybe Coach Felder trying to get some more of the younger players in, the players that don't get to play as many sets as she saw from set number 2. A convincing win, 25-9. And that's going to be the captain getting that one in. And Coach Krager looking a little bit frustrated over there on the side. And Brandon's going to serve it again. And unable to get that one back over the net. And that's going to fall for a Trailblazer point. Brandon serving it over to Grant. And it's going to be Green unable to keep this one in. Maybe the Trailblazers are going to go on another run here, like they did in set number 2. It's going to be Ty over to Suni, and Jesse's going to get denied and able to recover. Now the Vulcans, as Robinson over to Golding. That's going to be Johnson with the big windup, and that one's going to fall in for a Trailblazer point. Johnson getting her first kill of the set. And it's going to be Brandon serving it over again. Over to Ty. Back over to Suni. And Brandon able to dig it, and the diving effort by Golding, as that one came in fast. And that one's going to be awarded to Salil Maddie. Ashton Jesse, a freshman from Alaska, serving it over, and that's going to be Robinson. And Johnson nearly getting this one in. It must have hit the back line. And it's going to be the captain and Golding coming out. Carol Moore and Shannon Sorensen checking in for set number 3. And Sorensen wasn't expecting that hit, caught her off guard. And a little bit of trickery as the Vulcans make a couple substitutions. It's going to be Sheree New and Tori Dalikin. And Chapman with the big kill on that one, and that one's going to hit the back window. See right here, Chapman coming around behind and catching Grant off guard. It's going to be Savannah Ibsen getting the ace, getting her first action. And the Trailblazers getting all kinds of players getting involved. And Ibsen again with 2 consecutive aces. And Coach Felder's loving it. After every ace, the Trailblazers on the sideline do a little bit of a wave ritual. And Ibsen again. And that's going to be a kill awarded to, I believe, Armani Moultrie. Sierra Green to serve. Brandon starting up over to Moore, and that's going to be Chapman. Moultrie again. Brandon able to keep this one alive, and it looks like it was an attack error. That's going to be a point for the Voltrons. Going to be Green once again. And that's going to be Sorensen last tipping that one out of play. The Trailblazers is not able to dive for the chairs. And Green to serve it over again. Over to Chapman. And this is going to go to Robinson, and she comes away with the kill on that one. As everyone is contributing here in today's match. Chapman to serve this one over, and that one's going to go out of play. Mina Grant to serve this one over. Ibsen to start it off. That's going to go back to Sorensen, and look like both players, Grant and Green, both hit at the same time, allowing that one to fall short. As we have the captain and Alexa Golding checking in for Sorensen and Moore. And Golding sends this one over, and nearly an ace, but Green, and it looks like it was an attack error by Green, and she knows it. Golding again. And that one's going to go out of play. Service error. And Hawai'i Hilo trying to stay alive here in set number 3. Basha Suni and Evelyn Solio-Matti check in. Going to be Ibsen starting it, and she's going to get that one and falling short for a Valken point. And able to keep that one alive. Another chance for the Valkens. And Golding thought that one was going out, but that one's going to stay in. And Robinson starting off over to Golding, and it's going to finish with Robinson. And Brandon with the one-arm effort able to keep it alive. And Barney starting it off. And Robinson with the hit. And that one falls out of play. And that's going to fall for a Trailblazer point. Good experience being gained from this game for all the Trailblazers that don't normally get to play. The good learning experience. Nothing replaces experience like in-game experience. And Golding unable to return that one back over. And it's a 1-point game. This is going to be crowed. And that one's going to hit out of play. A little bit too much power on that one. Sid Brandon has served this one for the Lady Trailblazers. And this one's going to get blocked, but falling out of play. And back and forth the last couple of points. Neither team able to get some breathing room. As the Vulcans don't want to end this one just yet. And that's going to be Chapman with a powerful kill on that one. It's going to be Moore and Sorensen coming in for Brett Barney and Alexa Golding. Kara Moore to serve this one over. It's going to be Moore starting off over to Brandon. This is going to find Sorensen. Maybe Moultrie getting denied. It's going to be Johnson keeping this one alive. And a little bit of a tip over. And able to improvise as Green, and she's going to hit this one back over. And Brandon's going to dig it. And Moore just flicking this one over. Good awareness. And that's a timeout by Coach Krager. And not looking happy at all over there on the sideline. And the Trailblazers up by 3, 16-13. And I'll be right back.
There is a place where young and old make connections. Where kids feel like grown-ups. And grown-ups feel like kids. There is a place where beauty arises in contrast. Where wonder is universal. And laughter second nature. There is a place where friends find a future. Families find each other. And feelings find their home. There is a place.
And welcome back to the Student Activity Center. A little bit of fun here going on between the crowd and a little bit of the Trailblazer team as they find themselves up 2-0. Best of 5. And Moore going to start it off immediately. And the Vulcans again trying to get it going. The Trailblazers able to improvise, and Moore's going to have to hit this one back over. Moultrie fires it about 10 feet away from me. And that one's going to fall for a Vulcan point. It's going to be Sheree New serving it. It's going to be Johnson over to Moore. And the set just a little bit in front. And it's a 1-point game. The Vulcans not shining down. As New serves it over. And that one sneaks in as Johnson probably thought that that one was going to be just outside the line. And New again. Over to Robinson. And Robinson over to Moore. That's going to be Chapman. And trying to switch sides of the court is Tori Dalikin. And that's going to fall for a Trailblazer point, and the Trailblazers break the tie. As substitutions for both sides. As Savannah Ibsen comes in for Sydney Johnson. And Moultrie saw it coming the whole way. She gets the kill on that one. And Green to serve it over. Finding Brandon. Back over to Moore. And this is Sorensen again. Off the ceiling. And Green not ready for that one. And Lauren Gamble's going to check back into the game for Sid Brandon. Going to be Chapman serving it. And it's going to be Ty. Going to be Moultrie just lofting it over. And Robinson over to Moore. And it's going to be Sorensen again. And Grant's able to save that one. And Green from the back row. Over to Moore. It's going to be Sorensen again, lightly hitting it over. And nearly a collision that caused a point, but the rally still lives. And that one's going to get hit out of play. And we're tied up once again. As set number 3, a different story than set number 2. And that's going to be Gamble hitting it over. Grant to start it off. And Sorensen setting it up for Moore. And it's going to be Robinson hitting it over. And another good rally. And that one sneaks inside the lines. And Coach Felder probably going to go back to her original lineup as they find themselves trailing for the first time. And we'll take a 30-second break right here on the Trailblazer Volleyball Network.
There is a place where looking out means looking in, where an impression lasting only a few seconds will be imprinted on a life forever, where courage is forged and innocence rediscovered, where remembering is rewarding and forgetting unforgettable. There is a place where truth is felt and where seeing is believing. There is a place.
And welcome back to the Student Activity Center. Coach Felder keeping the same lineup. Cueing the song, Don't Stop Believin'. Matches perfectly with what Coach Felder has for her team. That's going to be Robinson checking out, and Hannah Duden's going to come back in. Duden to start up over to Moore, and that's going to be Gamble hitting it over. Able to make the recovery. And Green's fired up as she crosses over more. As Grant serves it over. That's going to be Doonan nearly getting it on that one. And that's going to get blocked. Leading the way is going to be Lauren Gamble, assisted by Sorensen. And Nelson and the captain, Barney, coming back in. Nelson looking to close this one out. The primary server. And Lauren unable to get the easy point on that one as she just hits that one back over again. And another block by Gamble and Barney assisting on that one. And Coach Krager taking a timeout as we got a 1-point game. And bringing back in the usual starters for Coach Felder, immediately making an impact. Such a huge turn of events. And with that, we'll take a 30-second timeout right here on the Trailblazer Volleyball Network.
Every year, 40% of all food in the U.S. never gets eaten.
40%. That's almost half the food we produce.
Food waste is a serious problem. It impacts all of us.
And it's expensive. Your family is throwing $1,500 a year in the trash.
We're working hard to put food waste on the chopping block.
And you can do the same at home.
Learn how to cook it, store it, and share it.
Just don't waste it.
Go to SaveTheFood.com.
And welcome back to the Student Activity Center after that quick timeout. The Trailblazers trailing by 1 here in set number 3. In case you are just joining us, they are up 2-0, but in jeopardy of dropping set number 3. And that one bouncing off the net, and Lauren Gamble unable to make that one go over the net. As Suni and Salil Madi checking in for the Vulcans. It's going to be Suni serving it over to Moore, and it's going to be Nelson. Back over to the lefty, Lauren, and I can't say I'm surprised on that one. I knew it was coming. Whenever you get Nelson down there, she places it perfectly nearly every single time. And Hannah Doonan to serve this one. It's going to find Grant over to Suni. And Doonan easily takes care of this one. And Nelson must have jinxed her. The announcer's jinx. So common. As she made me look bad right there. But nonetheless, and that's going to be Lauren Gamble again. As she keeps this team alive here in set number 3. Sid Brandon looking to close this one out in hopes for the Brooms. And I believe it looked like it could have been a bad set for the Vulcans. A block error is what the official call is. It's going to be Nelson starting it off, over to Brandon, and this is going to be Barney. And able to recover from that. And that one sneaks inside, and the Trailblazers are now 1 point away. Coach Krager doesn't believe it. Not happy with the performance. And we are Aloha Ball concluding the match. This is going to go over to Green, and she's going to have to nicely hit this one over. Back over to Nelson, and That's going to fall. There you have it, folks. There's your game. And the Trailblazers, in fact, do get their brooms out, as this one is a clean sweep. 25-16, 25-9, and 25-23. As you see right here, the blockers both coming in from different angles, and Chapman doing what she does best and being able to get that one to fall, as Chapman and Gamble, of course, your two leading scorers for the team. As that concludes the first game of three games, and their next home game is senior night or senior day, as it's going up against number 2 in the conference, Azusa Pacific, at noon, right here in the Student Activity Center. To start off the week right, your Trailblazers do get that clean sweep and improving in the conference to 9-7 overall, tying themselves with Notre Dame Dania Muir, and improving to 11-13 overall. And Hawai'i Hilo falling to 5-10 in conference play, 8-14 overall. And Dixie State, as I mentioned before, the future is so bright for this program. I'm excited for next season, as it doesn't look like they will be making the regional tournament, as it does only go to the conference championships. And that's going to conclude our broadcast. I'm James Guerin. For all our CEC crew and members, we thank you for watching tonight's broadcast. We'll see you on Saturday. Good night and aloha.